So today I'm going to be sharing with you 7 scientific tips on how to write great captions for your Instagram post. That's going to help you to get more likes, more comments, more shares, and more clicks. So the most important thing on your Instagram profile is the picture quality. But something that is also very important but often neglected by beginners is writing great captions. If you know exactly how to write good captions, you can write captions that will help you to get more engagement and to grow your Instagram profile. So in this video, I'm going to be breaking it down and sharing with you the 7 tips on how to write great captions for your post on Instagram. Welcome back. Thank you so much for staying on this video. I really appreciate it. If this is your first time here, my name is Kirk Buchanan, and on this channel I teach people how to start and grow their own e-commerce businesses. So if you've always wanted to learn how to start and grow an e-commerce business, then I highly recommend that you get subscribed to my channel because I'm always releasing great quality content to teach you exactly how to do that. Okay, with that said, let me dive into it and show you the 7 scientific tips that's going to help you to write much better captions for your Instagram posts. That's going to help you to grow your Instagram and to grow your business. So let's dive right into it. Okay, so a few weeks ago, I had a consultation call with a client from Florida named Dave. And Dave is relatively new to e-commerce, but he reached out to me and asked me to take a look at his Instagram profile to see if I had any tips I could share with him to help him to increase his engagement rate. So when I looked at his profile, I realized that he has awesome content, he has a really good camera, and he shoots his own content. So he has great images and great videos, and his profile is properly optimized, meaning his bio is properly written. Everything is perfect on his profile. However, when I looked at an individual post, I realized that he wasn't really writing great captions. So he was writing 1 or 2 or 3 word captions, and I told him to start writing better captions. And I gave him my 7 tips on how to write great captions. And since he started writing better captions, he has been getting much higher engagement. So these 7 tips have been tried and tested by myself and by other people, and they work. So if you want to start getting better engagements from your Instagram page and your post, I highly suggest you start using these 7 tips to write your caption. Okay, so the first tip that you should be using when you're writing captions on Instagram, that's going to help you to increase your engagement rates, is to make sure that in the first 120 characters in your captions that you're using words that are considered to be engagement baits. So words that are engagement baits are words such as giveaways, challenge, or contest. So people love to see those words. So if you have a giveaway or a challenge or a contest, use those words as engagement baits in the first 120 characters of your captions on Instagram. So the reason why it's the first 120 characters is because Instagram will truncate everything after 120 characters in your Instagram post. So you want to make sure that you're using the first 120 characters to start telling the most important part of your story, because this is what people will see without having to click that more button. So this is very effective and very important. So make sure you utilize and you use engagement baits in the first 120 characters of your captions on Instagram, and this will help you to get higher engagement rates. The second tip for writing great captions for your Instagram uploads, that's going to help with engagement and help you to grow your Instagram and your business, is to make sure that you're writing captions that fall within the sweet spot in length. So Instagram allows you to write captions that are up to 2200 characters in length, but in my opinion, that is way too long. So when I've tested different captions on Instagram, what I've found is that captions that fall within 400 to 600 characters in length actually seems to work the best. So you want to make sure that your captions don't exceed 600 characters, and this will give you the best possible results for your Instagram captions. Scientific tip number 3 that you should be using when you're writing your captions on Instagram is to make sure that you're using call to actions in the first 120 characters of your Instagram captions. So a call to action is any word or phrase that tells people to do something. So scientifically, it has been proven that if you don't don't tell people to take a specific action, they more than likely will not take an action. So let's say, for example, you created a post and you want to get people to share that post. Use that as a part of your call to action. Tell people to share the post. Say share this post, or share now, or like post, or tag someone. Those are just some examples of different call to actions that you should be using in your Instagram post if you want to get the best possible results. But once again, remember, you have to use the call to action within the first 120 characters of your Instagram caption. Tip number 4 for writing great captions for your post on Instagram is something that people consider to be nonsensical, but it has been proven by science to actually be quite effective, and that is to use emojis. I highly recommend you use emojis when you're writing your captions on Instagram. So you don't want to use too many emojis, but using 1 to 3 emojis for your captions on Instagram is actually highly recommended. So science has proven that you can actually invoke different emotions in people by using emojis. So let's say, for example, you're sharing a piece of content and you want to invoke the emotion of surprise. You could actually use the surprise emoji, and that will pre-program the viewer to feel more surprised when they see that emoji or that content. So that is how you should be using emojis in your content on Instagram. And if you use emojis well, you can actually use it to increase engagement on your Instagram profile. Okay, so this tip number 5 may be a bit technical for some people, but if you don't understand exactly what I'm explaining in this tip, I highly recommend you leave a comment in the comment section below, and I will do my very best to explain it to you in layman's terms to make sure that you fully understand. So this tip number 5 that you should be using when you're writing your captions for Instagram if you want to get the best results is to make sure that you always write using the active voice as opposed to using the passive voice. So these are two different ways of writing, and the active voice is always recommended. So the active voice is easier to read. You use fewer words to say the exact same thing that you would say with the passive voice, and it's more engaging. So in the active voice, the subject performs an action, while in the passive voice, an action is performed by the subject. So let me give you an actual example. If I wrote, "The house will be cleaned by me every Saturday," that is the passive voice, because as you can see, an action is being performed by a subject. So if I wanted to write that using the active voice, I would write, "I will clean the house every Saturday." As you can see, I say the exact same thing, but I use much fewer words and it's easier to understand. So that is why you should be writing using the active voice as opposed to using the passive voice. Tip number 6 for writing great captions on Instagram to help you to get more engagements, to help you to grow your profile and to grow your business ultimately, is to make sure that your captions are free from spelling and grammatical errors. So nothing irks people more than to see captions with spelling and grammatical errors, especially coming from different brands. So you want to make sure that you take some time to carefully reread your captions before you click that publish button. If you don't spell well and if you don't have perfect grammar, you can use different software to help you with your grammar and your spelling. So there is a free piece of software called Grammarly, and you can install Grammarly on your computer and it will help you with your spelling and your grammatical errors. So the free version doesn't give you all the features, but it gives you enough to help you to eliminate spelling and grammatical errors from your caption. So I highly recommend that you use free software if you don't spell well and if you don't have perfect grammar, to help you to write better captions for your Instagram post, and this will definitely help you to start getting much more engagement and to grow your Instagram profile. Okay, so the 7th and final tip for writing great captions for your Instagram profile, which will inevitably result in more engagement for your Instagram page, is to make sure that you break your captions into bite-sized pieces. So this is very important, but too often I've seen too many people make the mistake of actually jumbling all the caption together. If you have a jumbled caption, usually no one will be encouraged to read that caption. So I highly recommend you break your caption into one sentence bite-sized pieces, and this will encourage people to read more of your caption which will inevitably result in more engagement. So make sure you break your caption into bite-sized pieces using different separators. Okay, so there you have it. Those are the 7 tips for writing great captions for your Instagram posts that will result in you getting a lot more clicks. I really do hope you found a lot of value in this video, and if you did, please drop a like on this video, share it with a friend, and don't forget to check the link in the video description to join my e-commerce training group. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.